So, readers, as I said, today we're going to focus on how to improve our comprehension by focusing on different literary devices. And we're going to use voice and tone, which you've done a teaching point on, sensory details, author's message, and inference. So these are all concepts that we've touched on before. And so we're going to work on synthesizing this and learning how to do several jots. I had pointed out to you that you could do it on Post-it notes or in a reading journal. So I have it set up both ways. And what I wanted to show you was that if you want to do it in your reading journal, if you don't have 4 different colored Post-it notes, no problem. You can go ahead and, of course, regardless of whether or not you have Post-it notes, since we're jotting, you're going to write the author and the title. Please notice that the title is One Halloween Night, and I have it underlined, and I have the important words capitalized, or the important letters capitalized in the title, okay? Whenever you do a reading journal entry, you should be practicing that. You should spell the title correctly because you can copy it from the book. It's free spelling practice. And you can capitalize the important words in the title, or the first letters of those, and underline. If you were typing, you would do it in bold. Then you can separate it. I did it in 4 colors just to make it fun. Voice and tone, sensory details, author's message, inference. So you can jot here. You're going to be jotting 2 things. You're going to put the text evidence, which probably won't be a quote since I'm reading out loud to you, but whatever happened that you felt was a nice thing that demonstrated voice or a sensory detail. And then when I'm done reading, you can go ahead and write down what it is you thought about that, what it made you realize or understand better, because that's the purpose here, is to help you move away from summarizing what you read every day and rather pick a specific literary device, put down the evidence from the text about that, and then show your thinking, what it made you think or realize or understand about the story. So at the end of this, you're going to have 4 Post-it notes or 4 spots in your reading journal. And like I said earlier, you're going to record them on the Google Slides. You're going to put your inference under inference, your sensory under sensory details, your author's message under author's message, and your voice and tone under voice and tone. And then in our Zoom meet, we will discuss who jotted what and where it was put and kind of start a conversation about that, which I think will be really cool. Because then you'll be able to do this also with your book group book. And I think it'll help you have some richer conversations with your book group team, okay? So we're gonna do this with One Halloween Night. We're gonna have a conversation about it in Zoom. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have this and take pictures of it and turn it in. And here is the book, Mark Teague, One Halloween Night. And I actually, if I were you, I would set this up with my reading journal right next to my jotting hand, just like I would if I was reading on my own book. Of course, if I'm totally pleasure reading, I don't always use my reading journal, but if I'm reading for school or I'm reading for some other purpose, I will do this like a book club. On Halloween, Wendell, Floyd, and Mona were walking home from school when a black cat crossed their path. "Don't pet it, Floyd," cried Wendell. "Don't you know that black cats are bad luck?" "That's just an old wives' tale," Mona said. "Besides, what could happen?" Wendell merely shook his head. Anything can happen on Halloween. I've been trying really hard to adjust this, but it does not want to focus on words tonight. I am so sorry, you guys, but that's okay. You at least get to see the illustrations. In fact, something did happen as soon as they got home. First, Wendell discovered that his mad scientist costume had turned pink in the wash. This is definitely a bad sign, he thought. Then Floyd found out that he had to take his sister Alice trick-or-treating with him. "Pirates don't have little sisters," he complained. Worst of all, Mona's mother insisted that she go out dressed as a fairy princess. "I'll look ridiculous," Mona protested. "Nonsense," said her mother, and handed her a magic wand. Mona looks really unhappy. They all felt gloomy that evening as they set out trick-or-treating and hoped that no one they knew would see them. So this would be a great moment to jot. Did you catch did you make an inference? Did you understand how they might be feeling? Sensory detail. Is there a message you think the author wants us to notice? Was there a voice or tone that you appreciated? But their trouble was far from over. At some houses, they were surprised with tricks instead of treats. At other houses, the treats were weird or awful. Soon, their bags were full of candy with names like broccoli chews, sweet and sauerkraut, and eggplant fizzlers. I can't believe this is happening, Wendell grumbled. I don't know, I like eggplant, but not as a candy. At that moment, a screech of laughter came from down the block. Floyd peered through his spyglass and groaned, "Ugh, it's Leona Fleabish and her nasty friends." "Not them," Mona squeaked. "They're the worst. We'd better run for it," cried Wendell. Floyd led them down a hidden path through the woods behind the old Dreidel house. But soon, Leona's jeering voice rang out, "We see you, you can't hide." The chase was on. Look at them scaling fences. They are brave. Look at the kitty kitty. Whoop, kitty kitty. Finally, out of breath, they tried to slip behind some trash cans at the end of a narrow alley. But Floyd ducked a moment too late, and Alice's rabbit ears gave them away. Leona squealed with delight, "Yo-ho-ho! I see something funny! It's Pirate Floyd and his baby bunny!" The witch roared with laughter and slapped each other on the back. They're charming. Floyd winced, but as he drew his saber, his face lit up with a pirate's grin. First, he kept the witches at bay so his friends could carry little Alice to safety. Then, growling like a movie pirate, he swung out of reach over an overhanging tree limb, turned a quick flip, and somersaulted backwards over the fence. Any inferences, sensory details, or author's messages? Tone or voice, anyone? Methinks you should jot. Just saying. I don't know if I can get you to see it. I love this little bird drawing up here. It's kind of cute. I don't see my cat though. Oh dear. Here we go. I didn't know you could do that, Mona said. Floyd looked surprised. Neither did I. Come on, shouted Wendell. They're right behind us. They ran until they found themselves in an even stranger part of town. It's pretty creepy around here, muttered Floyd. Wendell suggested they hide in the graveyard, but Mona scoffed. You've got to be kidding. No, it's perfect. They'll never follow us into a place like this. Any inferences, ideas, thoughts? Author's message. Actually, the witches didn't mind the graveyard at all. We see you, Wendell, Leona crowed. What's wrong with Wendell? Let me think. He must be mad, 'cause he's dressed in pink. The witches shrieked and hooted, laughing so hard, they nearly cried. For a moment, Wendell's face turned as pink as his smock, but then an idea began to brew. He reached into his mad scientist kit and started mixing potions. Drink this, he told his friends. It will make us invincible. Oops, invisible, not invincible. At the word invisible, the witches roared even louder. But their laughter turned to puzzled yelps when Wendell, Floyd, Mona, and Alice suddenly disappeared. By the time the potion wore off, the children were several blocks away. Everywhere they turned, haunted houses creaked and moaned. I've got a bad feeling about this, said Floyd. Can you make us invisible again? Asked Mona. Wendell nodded, but when he opened his mad scientist kit, it was empty. And suddenly, the witches were approaching. Here are the cute little witches. Before they could decide what to do, the witches were upon them. Leona cackled even louder. Look at the bat. Just look over there. You'll see something scary. It's Tinkerbell Mona dressed up like a fairy. The witches squealed and gawked. They snorted and wheezed and rolled on the ground. Mona waited until the laughter died down. Then her eyes flashed, and suddenly so did her magic wand. Now, I've got a poem for you, she said. And she pointed her wand straight at them. Ibbity bibbity bobbity bo, Leona Fleabish, you're a toad. The kitty does not look happy. Instantly, a bolt of white light shot out from the wand, followed by a clap of thunder and a great puff of smoke. The next thing they knew, Wendell, Floyd, Mona, and Alice landed right back on the corner where their evening had begun. There wasn't a witch in sight, and their bags were filled with wonderful, ordinary candy. Wendell stared at Mona's wand. How did you do that? She just shrugged. You said anything can happen on Halloween. Later, they sat in Floyd's living room, sorting their candy and sipping cocoa. You know, Floyd, said Wendell, you make a pretty good pirate. Thanks. You're a good mad scientist, too, even if you are pink, but Mona was the best of all. She smiled. I guess being a fairy princess was okay. Still, I'm sort of glad it's over. Now we can all get back to normal. Do you see the kitty off in the corner? After a while, Leona Fleabish even stopped being a toad. So, boys and girls, that was the story by Mark Teague one Halloween night. And I want you to understand that I'm expecting you to have an inference. So something from the text that's literal, and then what you thought about it or what it made you realize or understand better. A sensory detail, some example from the story, and then what it helped you understand or feel or visualize. The author's message. What do you think the author might have been trying to teach you or help you to understand? Was there a message of some kind? And what's your evidence? So something from the text, and then what you thought the message was from that. And then the voice or tone. How did the author help me read the story with feeling, with energy, with passion? What words did they use? What kind of punctuation did you sense from the tone and inflection of my voice as I read it? The really cool thing here is that because I recorded this for you, if you feel like I went too fast or you need to hear something again, you can go back and re-listen to the story and kind of double check your work. And then you can take your pictures of each Post-it note or each section of your reading journal and post it up under the correct spot in the Google Slides. And then we can have a great conversation, okay? And We do have our rule that we don't change the background for the slides, so we're leaving them the way Miss J set them up. But that said, if there's no more room on the inference slide, you can hit Control M and add another slide and then add your picture that one, because I'm thinking maybe 4 to 6 cards or post-it notes or pictures are going to fit per slide. So, you know, they don't have to be crowded on top of each other and all fit on one. We can add some slides, but please be responsible. And I can't wait to discuss this with you and see what we learned about jotting using different literary devices. Okay, catch you later. Bye.